This video, I'll be talking or sharing my experience voting at the Philippine Embassy here in Singapore. Alright, just a little introduction. My name is George, and I'm a Filipino American who's been based in Singapore for the past 10 years. And this is Saturday Uncut, my weekly video series where I talk about everything, anything under the sun, and it's completely unedited from start to finish. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel as well as following me on social media through the links that you can find down below. All right. So yesterday I went to I almost said United States Embassy. Yesterday I went to the Philippine Embassy here in Singapore to cast my vote. I've shared this already on my Facebook, but this is my first time to vote ever in the Philippine elections because I only got my Filipino citizenship in 2019. So I was really excited, really hyped to go to the Philippine Embassy. Months and months of campaigning for my preferred candidate, I was finally excited to be able to cast a vote, put down her name on a ballot. Oh wait, I did not write. You don't have to write their name on a ballot. You just have to shade it's like multiple choice, right? You just shade them in, and that was that. So the process is pretty easy. Registering to vote started last year in 2021. So that involved me going to the embassy, doing all the paperwork to get registered, and that itself wasn't that difficult. I'll share a link in the video description to my blog post about registering last year. Come election time, so election period, overseas voting, OVA, oh my god, overseas absentee voting, or OAV, started on the 10th of April and runs until May 9, which is election day in the Philippines. So everyone, all the Filipinos who are abroad can vote, weeks and weeks ahead of when everyone else can vote back at home in the Philippines. What happened was I followed Philippine Embassy in Singapore Facebook group, and they provide a lot of great updates. I have to give kudos to the Philippine Embassy here in Singapore, and I'm sure it's the same with other embassies or consulates around the world. They provide a lot of information. I'll flash it right in front of you right now. So you can see that they provide all these infographics, which like these reminders saying that this is the process for voting. You could do walk-ins. You can do, you could schedule an appointment if it's something that you prefer to do. But yeah, I like how detailed they are, and it's been pretty smooth. And registering. So what I did was, I wanted to have an appointment. I didn't want to do walk-in because I was afraid that, I wouldn't have patience to be in a queue any longer than 10 minutes. So what I did was I pre-registered my own voting schedule for Good Friday at 3 p.m. And this is what happened. So when I got to the embassy, as soon as I got in, there were these ushers, really friendly ushers who were asking you, "Are you here to vote?" Obviously, yeah, I'm here to vote. They segregate you into two areas. You could be part of the walk-in queue. So when I saw the walk-in area right outside the embassy grounds, there were a lot of people. I think, yeah, there were a lot of people. And I was part of the people who had registered. So if you registered, you just flash them this confirmation email that you got, and then you get ushered to this I call it like an express lane, which is on the right side near the guardhouse of the embassy. And once you're there, you do your safe entry because you're in Singapore, and you join this group. There's only less than 10 people in this area, in this queue, in this waiting area. And after waiting for maybe just 5 minutes, you're whisked right into the precinct, your respective precinct, where it's a tent. So they have a bunch of tents outside of the actual embassy. And then once you enter, the tent, by the way, is freezing. So imagine you're coming from all the humidity in Singapore, and then suddenly you're inside this tent where the temperature is 18 degrees Celsius. I don't know. You go in, you do this. You check if your name is there in the system. Wait, by the way, you should have already checked that your name, you're you're a registered voter by the time you reach this point. There's this system. You tell them your name. You show them your Philippine passport. And then, I don't know, they talk to each other, and then this thing comes out, this form that you sign quickly. And once that's done, they hand over to you your official ballot. And that was the most amazing feeling when I was holding it, because again, I'm a first time voter. Then there's a whole bunch of seats in the area. It's like a classroom, and tightly packed, by the way. And they also give you a secrecy folder. And I brought my own pen, but I realized that all the tables have a pen underneath them. Photos and videos, by the way, are completely prohibited in this area. And on the side, you could see the poll watchers. So you could see poll watchers wearing like a pink shirt or another shirt on the side. That's nice. As long as the poll watchers are there, you can, if you have any concerns, issues, if you're anything that seems off on your vote on your ballot, you can immediately raise it with them. And they're standing on the side, so they have a good. They could visually see the whole room. Sat down, started filling in, circling the people that I'd like to vote for: president, vice president, and 12 senators, as well as one party list. The party list part was like on the second page. It's like the entire second page was like party lists. You're not supposed to use your mobile phone when you're in this area, so the tip was to have a piece of paper. So that's what I did. On a post-it note, I wrote down the numbers just to make sure that I didn't miss the senators, because I wanted to be very particular with those. Once you're done shading it, carefully shading it, you just do a careful review, and if you're happy, you get back up, and then you queue to the part where you actually have it inserted in the machine. I'm not sure if this is the actual PCOS machine that I keep hearing about, but it's the actual machine that will register your vote. So after queuing there, when it's your turn, the tip was to when you literally slide it into this machine, you're supposed to keep the secrecy folder on top, but yeah, that's what I did. But the lady in front of me didn't do that. So as soon as it's in the machine does its magic. That's not the right thing. Word. That's not the right word. The machine does its thing, and then a receipt comes out. And then this little receipt looks like where you could look at your BMI. The receipt has all the candidates that you're voting for, and you just do a double check very discreetly. By the way, you just take a look at it and say, am I happy? If you're happy with it. So definitely, I looked if my president was there, my vice president, senators, and the party list, and I checked; they were all there. So I'm satisfied. And then you have to forgive me, I don't know the name of the person who's at the machine, but he'll tell you, okay, if you're happy with it, you could put it in the ballot box that's right on sitting on top of the machine, and what you're supposed to just fold it and then just drop it in, and that's that. Once you're done, it was like surreal. Like, am I really done? Is there anything else I need to do? Do I need to sign something? Nothing. You just head for the exit, and once you exit, you just leave the embassy, and you're back on the street. Yeah, it was pretty efficient, very fast. I think my experience was pretty good. I've never experienced voting in the Philippines. I have my own family, my friends, classmates, people that I know. When they voted in the Philippines, they go to these like public schools, I think, and then they have the indelible ink, and I think it's a whole day affair. I'm not sure, but here doing it overseas, well, here in Singapore, it was pretty fast. I know there have been some concerns, especially in the first day of voting, at the embassy here. But the embassy did release its statement about that particular issue. I was satisfied with the vote. Pretty impressive the way that it was. I can only hope and pray that the elections will be fair and square. That's what we all expect it to be. Because when you're voting, you're part of, voting is the most important part of a democracy, of the democratic process. When people, the public, get to elect and choose their leaders, that's something that should never ever be taken for granted. All right. So I'm glad I did it from here in Singapore. All right. We've reached the end of my video. If you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel, as well as following me on social media through the links down below. Week 42, the actual week 42. I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.